How's it going, Jets fans? Welcome back to Fireside Jets with your boys, Alex and Ryan. Today we're discussing the Detroit Lions, which is a team you should definitely not be sleeping on. They are actually pretty good. Their defense, one of the worst in the history of the game. Their offense, led by Jared Goff, is legit. Amon-Ra St. Brown, legit. Jamal Williams, legit. Jameson Williams is back, had his first touchdown last week. Absolute, their offense is potent on all fronts. DeAndre Swift, they traded TJ Hawkinson to the Minnesota Vikings, and they beat the crap out of the Minnesota Vikings anyway. This Detroit Lions team is feisty. Dan Campbell, do not sleep on him. He's a very unorthodox level type of coach, really a hard guy, hard head. But I will say at the end of the day, the players respect him, and he really fuels that energy of that team, that fuels the fire of that team. And he's someone that we should not be sleeping on. And that Lions team, the Jets match up really well against them, actually, because their defense is so good, the Jets specifically. But the Lions, their offense is potent enough that they could take advantage of some mismatches. Maybe Amon-Ra St. Brown's difficult to stop across the board, but I'd put him in the slot and just basically try to attack Michael Carter II if I was the Lions. That's Michael Carter II is probably their weakest link in the secondary, and he's a very good player. So it's it's hard to even fathom that's your weakest link. But that's what I would probably be trying to do if I were the Lions and Dan Campbell this upcoming Sunday. But the Jets have a good opportunity to win this game. Now, Mike White, already the established starter, he'll be back after getting hit. That hit that he took last week, it looked like it was out of a superhero movie. It looked like, Captain America getting tackled by another super villain. It was ridiculous. So, looking forward, Zach Wilson's the backup, obviously. We want to give you guys some keys here on how the Jets can overcome the Lions and, push themselves into a more clear playoff picture. Hopefully they can, find a way to sneak into the wild card. But right now they need to get a couple wins under their belt. But Ryan, looking at this Jets defense, how important is it that they step up and limit this really, really potent Lions offense?
Absolutely, Alex. You said it best. This is going to be a tough game for the Jets. The Lions are right now, coming into the year, they were, one of the hotter teams across the NFL, and people were expecting this type of a breakout. Obviously, they had the slow start, but you've seen them win 5 of their last 6 games. They took it to the Vikings last week in pretty stunning fashion, to say the least. And, this is going to be a dogfight for the Jets, like we were saying beforehand. I think this is probably going to be a game that the Jets should absolutely win, but it's really going to come down, I think, to, the final few minutes of this game. And, there are certain situational things that the Jets the last 2 weeks, they've moved the ball well. I think their defense has played predominantly well these last 2 games, but you just look, in the team categories and certain situations where I think the Jets, as a team, just collectively as a whole, have got to execute better. And we're going to talk about a couple of the key team stats that, the Jets on both fronts have got to do a better job of. And they did actually on third down last week show some progress from the Vikings game. So there definitely is something to take and feel good about. But you said it best. This is a high-flying offense that's really – it's the sole challenge that I think the Jets are provided with in this game. What is in the way of them winning this game? It's really just that Lions offense. Jared Goff playing at a high level. DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams is a great 1-2 punch. Amon-Ra is incredible. And now you add Jameson Williams into the mix, and you have another speed guy there in DJ Chark. So it's a really talented offense that's capable of putting up points. But you said it best. The Jets defense has the best cornerback trio in the NFL. And, look, last week in Buffalo, they found a way to hold, that high-flying Bills offense led by Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs to 232 yards of offense. So while it's a challenge, the Jets' third-ranked defense going into this game, I still think is going to be able to do just enough to win this game.
It's going to come down to Mike White, as it always does with this Jets team. The quarterback position is the difference between winning and losing at the end of the day. But, you mentioned the Jets defense. They can limit this Lions offense. They only 1 turnover in the last 4 games, as you so kindly wrote for us down in the notes here. Jets have lost the turnover battle 2-0 in each of the last 2 games, though. So, it's really difficult to win football games when you're losing turnover battles. The Jets have had some pretty tough opponents. Of course, the Bills, very, very good. They almost snuck out a win in that game. They really just needed a bit more offensive production. But at the end of the day, couldn't get that out of it. But, this is a team that is also battling some major injuries. As we projected when the season began, this was a year for the Jets to set the table for 2023. This was always the case. This is how we felt going into the year. We thought Zach Wilson would be a lot better at this point in time, but you look at what they lost in Breece Hall and Elijah Vera Tucker. Those 2 players right there are the difference between winning and losing some of these big games against teams like the Buffalo Bills. And they won a couple of weeks ago. I was there at the game. They looked awesome. It was a really, really fun game to watch. And Zach Wilson had a decent outing. Jets defense was unbelievable. And you look at what's, Sauce Gardner is doing, DJ Reed. They don't get beat very often. When they do, it's very, very, very minor. It's very slim margin. So, the Lions offense, they're a little bit polarizing at times. Sometimes they'll go out and put up, 40 points, and the next week they'll put up 3 points. And it's like, okay, kind of interesting. But Jared Goff has a pretty good grasp on that offense. Jamal Williams is just a touchdown producer. They get that thing to the 1 yard line, and he is an automatic touchdown. They do not get blocked if they're inside the 5, even inside the 10. They score touchdowns. Their conversion rate's probably really, really high in the red zone. So that's something the Jets have to be very, very wary of, and they need to be ready to stop those playmakers. Mostly Jamal Williams, mostly Amon-Ra St. Brown, DeAndre Swift. Those 3 guys are the ones you really have to kind of hone down on and make sure they don't beat you. And now you have Jameson Williams kind of prowling the backfield and trying to make some plays downfield. He obviously was wide open on that play. Defenses haven't really seen him. His speed is obviously there. He looks to be back to 100%, or at least he's getting there. So the Jets got to be wary. LaMarcus Joyner, got to make sure they don't get beat deep. Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed, got to make sure those just go routes are on lock. They're communicating really, really efficiently. So, looking at the Lions defense, though, this comes down to, can Mike White dominate a really, really bad defense, right? They're 31st in yards per game, 31st in points per game, 30th in pass defense, 26th in run defense, 22nd in sacks. Like, they're terrible. They're awful. Like, one of the worst defenses ever. And to you, Ryan, who's got to step up on offense to get the job done? Who do you think is the catalyst? I obviously think it's Mike White. You probably agree. But is the running game, you want to set the stage there, kind of maintain possession? Maybe you can limit turnovers by running the football effectively. Where do you think the Jets have to start?
I just think it's the 3-headed trio of Mike White, Bam Knight, and Garrett Wilson, just continuing to do what they've done for this offense the last 3 weeks. And I would even throw Elijah Moore into that mix. I think 2 of the last 3 games, he's really started to come on. The Jets offense absolutely has the talent. I mean, we know that. And they have a prime opportunity here, I think, to really play one of, if not their best games of the season. I mean, they've moved the ball, like I said earlier, in Minnesota, in Buffalo the last 2 weeks. I mean, they've moved the ball at will. They just haven't been able to punch it in for 6, to finish drives. And like I said, situationally in the team key category department, the Jets have just not really executed to, the winning level that they were really the first half of the season. So I think, the red zone, they were better on third down. Like I said a week ago, they were nearly at 50%. If they can just continue to keep up with those things, I think on 1st and 10, they really got to stay ahead of the chains a little bit better. That's really been a bit of an issue. And I think it's just continuing to really go with the hot hand of Bam Knight right now and what he's given this offense. Obviously, you alluded to it. The loss of Breece Hall crushes this team, but I think what Bam has really provided, Alex, is just some of that explosive, big play threat ability that we've seen. And even his ability to break tackles has really jumped out to me. So, him and Garrett, especially, as rookies at the skill positions, have given this offense just so much life. And it's really been exciting to watch. You said it. I mean, the Lions, they're in the bottom, 10 in most team categories as a defensive unit. That's the reason why I do believe the Jets end up winning this game. I think the offense will be in position to score at least 24 to 27 points. And then you take it to the other side of the ball. The Jets, aside from their run defense, which is like 12th or 13th right now off the top of my head, they're in, I think, the top 8 of, points per game. Oh, they're 3rd overall. Their pass defense, sacks, takeaways. So in all those, key departments, I mean, the Jets defense has really delivered. And you just look at what like I said, they've done against the Bills and the Vikings the last 2 weeks at home. And I think the last element to really, throw into this, while Jared Goff, I think he's playing the best really since that Super Bowl year with the Rams. There is that stat that's out there, the, splits when he's playing in freezing cold weather. Obviously, he's a California kid, played in LA with the Rams, now is in that dome in Detroit. I think that the, cold weather, the inclement, conditions in this game could absolutely make an impact. And it's a way that I think this Jets defense can kind of give themselves some life. And obviously the status of Quinton Williams is pretty key. Him, Corey Davis, a couple of guys that I will meet with reporters this afternoon. So we'll get some, clarity there. But overall, this is going to be a tough, hard-fought battle for the Jets, absolutely. And it's one they need to win. I think we're going to find a lot out about this team being at 7-6, dropping that last 2. But, if the Jets win out, they control their destiny of the playoffs. So at home, I think this is really the first playoff game you could say for the Jets. And I do expect them to win this game ultimately.
Yeah, I mean, the Jets defense is good enough to win this game handily. They just need the offense to step up and put up 24-plus points. They need to score at least 24 points to win this game, in my opinion. That Lions offense, you can stop them, you can limit them, but they will score on you. They are going to score on the Jets. It's just a matter of how many times. And if the Jets can mirror that, if the Jets offense gets off the field quickly and they're just kind of punting 3 and outs, 5 and out, whatever it might be, they're going to be in trouble. They're going to get themselves into some trouble, and they're going to find out that the Lions are not a team to mess with because they can score on you at will. And if they get you slipping and they have a good game plan, they will take advantage of that. So like you said, Quinn Williams' health is big. They can run the ball effectively. If Quinn Williams is out, I would not be surprised if they just went like really quick, a lot of play action, run the ball, quick hitters, like really just taking advantage of that. So we'll see what happens, guys. Always happy to hear your opinions and logic and whatever you think about this upcoming game, your factors and keys and variables. Always happy to see those in the YouTube comments. As always, make sure to like and subscribe. We'll catch you guys on the next Fireside Jets episode.